Today we're going to learn about Gyotaku. Gyotaku is actually a Japanese technique that is basically a form of printmaking a fish. They usually use live fish because fish are a really important part of Japanese culture because Japan is an island and it's surrounded by water, so a lot of their food source comes from the ocean. So I'm going to show you how to make your own Gyotaku fish print today. We're going to use these rubber fish, and you're going to need a mat underneath it to keep our table clean. We're going to need some temper paint. We're going to use these little containers. We'll just take the lid off. You're going to need a paintbrush, a paper towel to clean your paintbrush. We're not going to use water because we don't want to water down the paint. That'll mess up our print. And you're also going to need a paper, and you're going to make sure that your name is on your paper. Go ahead and do that before you even start so that way you don't forget it. And the way we're going to do it is we're going to just paint directly on this rubber fish. So I'm going to start with my lightest colors that I want to add. I think I'm going to add some white. So I'm just going to scoop some white and start painting my fish. I don't want a bunch of blobs of paint. I want to make sure that I rub it in. But I do have to work fairly quickly because if the paint dries before I do my rubbing, then it's not gonna work. My print won't come out. And I'm gonna go for another color, so I'm gonna make sure that I wipe this off of my paintbrush. And I'm gonna go ahead and go for some cyan and paint over that. If I see blobs of paint, then I'm going to spread them out. I'm going to wipe my paintbrush off before I get more paint. And I'm just letting the colors naturally blend as I paint my fish. I want to make sure I get the whole fish. And then I'm ready to print it. So I'm going to move my paint out of the way. If you got some on the mat, go ahead and wipe that off quickly. And then you're going to take your paper with your name up and you're going to place it on your fish. Now we have to be careful so our paper doesn't slide around. So I'm always going to have one hand that's holding it while I'm rubbing it. You want to be gentle with the paper so you don't tear it. And you want to make sure that you get all of the details. Make sure you get all the fins. I'm going to gently just roll my finger down the fish and rub this fin. And if I have to move this hand, I'm going to make sure this other hand is holding my paper and rolling it. Just rubbing it gently. This is going to take a little bit of time because if you go too fast, you're going to miss some details of your fish. You want to make sure you get the whole head in there. Rub it. Make sure you get the bottom of the fish and all his dorsal fins down here. And when you think you've gotten it all, then you're ready to pick your paper up gently. And I have a nice fish print. You can see, if you look, I might have used a little too much paint right there. And I missed a little bit of the fins. So you're probably going to have to try this a couple of times to get it exactly the way you want it. But after this dries, then I can go in with some colored pencil and add some details. Obviously I'm going to have to wait till next art class because this is, like I said, this has to dry first. So this would go on the drying rack so it can dry. And then the fish, we are just going to take to the sink and we're just going to gently wash it with our hands to get all of the paint off. And then you can just pat it dry with a paper towel so the next person can use it. And that's how you make a Gyotaku fish print.